Hello students, welcome back to your video class. In the previous video, we started your new lesson number 2, the adventures of Toto. And this is a beautiful story of a pet animal, and we have read half part of this chapter. So, if you remember, we have read that Toto is a monkey, and the author tells that his grandfather bought it from a Tonga driver for the sum of 5 rupees, and when grandfather brought the monkey at home, he had to face some problems because grandmother did not like such animals at home. So first they faced the problem of keeping monkey at home, and you know very well how the monkeys behave and how they react when we play with them. So all this made mess, and finally they kept first privately without telling grandmother, and then once the author's grandfather happened to take him to Saharanpur, and on the way the ticket collector took charge, and some grandfather had to pay for the monkey, and finally this was the thing happening. And when he came back after a few days, grandmother accepted Toto and they kept with the other animals, because grandfather was fond of keeping many animals at home, rabbit, tortoise, and some donkey and all this. So grandfather kept Toto in the yard, and he was given permission to keep at home in the stable where other animals keep. So when he was left there, there was a donkey, his name was Nana. So Toto did not make friendship with Nana, and he always teased Nana and made mischievous with him. And obviously the monkeys are actually, this is in their nature to keep something unusual or make mischievous, like sometimes we call the small kids when they make so much mischievous, we call them monkey, or say that are you monkey. So it means monkey is the synonym for mischievous. So when grandfather reached at night first night to check whether Nana and Toto was sleeping, so he found that there was something problem, and they were fighting with each other. A great treat for Toto during cold winter evenings was large ball of. So now let's continue with the thing. And Toto and Nana never became friends. A great treat for Toto during cold winter evenings. What he was served was the large bowl of warm water given him by grandfather for his bath. For bath, in winter season, grandfather used to give him the warm water. He would cunningly means making some type of taste the temperature, means cunningly, very wisely test the temperature. So he used to check the temperature of the water with his hand. Sometimes when we take bath, we just check the water whether it is hot or cold, or good hot or enough hot for taking bath. Then gradually step into the bathtub. First one foot, then the other, as he had seen me doing, as he had seen the author doing. Monkeys are, well, that they can copy, imitate human beings very well. So he did the same thing. First he checked the water, then he put the first foot in the water, then other, until he was into the water up to his neck. And in bathtub, tub is very little bit big, so till the neck he dipped himself in the water. Once comfortable, he would take the soap in his hand or feet and rub himself all over. And he used to take the soap in his hand and used to rub all over. When the water became cold, he would get out of and run as quickly as he could to the kitchen fire in order to dry himself. And kitchen fire, and after taking bath, he used to run to the kitchen fire, means where kitchen, we burn the fire and the smoke goes out there. He used to dry himself. He was wet, he used to do that thing. If anyone laughed at him during this performance, whatever he did during this, if anyone laughed at him, Toto's feeling would be hurt. He would be sad, and he would refuse to go on with his bath. And he used to he would refuse to go on with his bath. He would stop doing if anyone laughed at him. One day Toto nearly succeeded in boiling himself alive. And one day, very bad thing happened. He nearly succeeded in boiling himself alive. And a large kitchen kettle had been left on the fire to boil for tea. And what happened? Let's see. A large kitchen kettle had been left on the fire, boil for tea. And when we make tea, we keep the kitchen kettle on the stove or on the fire. And Toto, finding himself nothing better to do, when a monkey does not find anything to do, then he makes mischief. So Toto what did? Himself with nothing better to do, decided to remove the lid. Toto removed the lid of that kettle, and finding the water just warm enough for bath, and Toto thought that this is warm water, so I can take bath in it. He got in, and the fire was burning, and he got in the kettle with his head sticking out from the open kettle, and he kept his head out of the kettle, and rest of the body part he dipped in warm water that was boiling on the fire. This was just fine for a while, and that time water was not too hot. However, the fire was burning, and until the water began to boil, Toto then raised himself a little. And when the water started boiling, he raised himself a little, but finding it cold outside, but outside there was cold, and sat down again. Again he sat down in the water. He continued hopping up and down, jumping up and down for some time, until grandmother arrived and hold him half boiled out of the kettle. And grandmother took him out and from the water bottle, that kettle of water, and it was too hot. He was nearly half boiled in the water. If there is a part of the brain especially devoted to mischief, that part was largely developed in Toto, and really the mind was very developed. He was always tearing things to pieces. Whenever one of my aunts came near him, he made very effort to get hold of her dress and tear a hole in it. And he was doing very mischievous. He used to tear the clothes in pieces, and whenever one of my aunts came near him, he made every effort to get hold of her dress. He used to hold the dress and tear a hole in it. One day at lunchtime, a large dish of pulao stood in the center of the dining table. Pulao, we made the pulao. We entered the room to find Toto stuffing himself with rice. And when we entered the room, Toto was stuffing himself with rice. He was stuffing himself with rice. He was, playing with pulao, with the rice. My grandmother screamed because there was pulao made for lunch, and Toto was rubbing himself and jumping on the rice. My grandmother screamed, and Toto threw a plate at her. And she screamed, Toto threw a plate on my grandmother's face. One of my aunts rushed forward. Then one of my aunts came forward and received a glass of water in the face. And Toto threw a glass of water on my aunt's face. When grandfather arrived, Toto picked up the dish of pulao and made his exit through a window. And my grandfather came. Toto took the plate of pulao and jumped out of the window. Toto picked up the dish pulao and made his exit through a window. From one window, exit. And we found him in the branches of a jackfruit tree. He took there the dish still in his arms. He remained there all afternoon, eating slowly through the rice, determined on finishing every grain. He took the plate and sat on the branch of jackfruit tree, and half day he enjoyed there. He ate the pulao. And then, in order to spite grandmother, who had screamed at him, he threw the dish down from the tree. And again, he just wanted to irritate the grandmother. He threw that empty plate on the ground and chattered with delight. Chattered with delight. Made the sound, cry, creak. When it broke into 100 pieces, he threw the plate on the ground. It broke into 100 pieces, and he screamed, chattered. Obviously, Toto was not the sort of pet we could keep for long. And really, Toto was very much mischievous pet animal we could keep home for a long time. Even grandfather realized that. We were not well-to-do. Well-to-do is well-to-do. Well-to-do, rich. So we were not well-to-do and could not afford the frequent loss of dishes, cloths, curtains, and wallpaper. So grandfather found the Tonga driver and sold Toto back to him for only 3 rupees. So this is the lesson we have read, how Toto made the adventures and how he made the loss for grandfather. Sometimes he tore the curtains and then clothes of author's aunts, and then he broke the plates, and how means everything was in trouble. And finally grandfather thought that Toto is not such animal we could keep at home, because they were not well-to-do, rich, that they can face such loss. So grandfather sold Toto back to the same Tonga driver, and for the sum of 3 rupees. However, he bought in 5 rupees but sold in 3 rupees and got rid of that mischievous monkey. So students, If you pet animals, you must think 100 times before buying or keeping such pet animal, where you can not keep them at home. At home, such animals can be dangerous and can make great loss to you. So this is a beautiful story, and now you would write the glossary and I would send you the answers of these questions. That would be your homework. So HW is do question answers and send me after doing this work, and we'll continue your class with next chapter. By the time, have a good time and enjoy your study. Thank you.